So, folks, I want to have a discussion here about how we can actually move forward and continue to push the envelope when it comes to progressive actions. Because when I look around right now, I see an incredible amount of weakness in the Republican machine. The Republican figures who are coming forward, the Republican elected officials who are suddenly having to reckon with a world that is full of consequences for their actions. And I think that this means we are in a moment of time where we have the ability to have an outsized impact on the future that we would like to see come about. And that's why I want to ask you guys throughout this segment to think about ways you can get involved in a number of different campaigns to get folks elected on the national level that could change our political conversations, right? Because right now, when I look out there at the sea of political candidates that are throwing their hats into the ring for 2026, I'm seeing on the Republican end of things, folks like this guy. That's right. That's Sham Wow Guy. He doesn't need another name. That's just Sham Wow Guy. He's running for Congress, apparently. Texas's 31st congressional district. And I want to remind all of you, this guy is insane, has assaulted sex workers, and he has a YouTube channel where he uploads insane music videos that genuinely make me deeply uncomfortable. And like it seems like he's about to be a threat to himself and others when I see them. I put together a video about one of them, not knowing he was about to run for Congress, a couple weeks ago. And yeah, we labeled it a conservative fetish video because that's genuinely how it came across. Now, I'm not going to play this for you guys, but it is on my channel. You can go watch that video if you would like to. None of it doesn't wind up violating TOS, but it really made me worried that it would. And anyway, check that out if you want to, I guess, to learn more about ShamWow Guy. But that being said, we also can look elsewhere. And one of the things that I am finding really interesting is that, well, a lot of lawmakers, GOP lawmakers, are now on the receiving ends of a lot of threats, largely from other Republicans. So here's a story from just a handful of days ago from Indiana's Capitol Chronicle. As threats escalate against Indiana lawmakers, Braun says his family also targeted. Governor Mike Braun on Friday condemned a wave of threats against state lawmakers, including ones he said targeted him and his family, shortly after Republican Senator Andy Zay confirmed a bomb threat at his Huntington vehicle rental business. Senator Linda Rogers revealed on Friday she'd also been a victim of several intimidation incidents. The threats came amid a week of swatting attempts and other harassment aimed at Senate Republicans. Enough is enough, the government said in a Friday afternoon post on X. These threats to lawmakers, including those received by me and my family in recent days, need to stop. Braun said Indiana State Police and other law enforcement agencies have been working around the clock all week to protect lawmakers and investigate the string of incidents. And, like, a lot of this is related to them being Republicans. And it's related to attempts to redistrict the state. Attempts to gerrymander the state. Now, one of these lawmakers, Zay, has been targeted. And this is what he had to say to, again, the Indiana Capitol Chronicle. Yesterday, my business in Huntington was targeted with a bomb threat, which is part of the recent troubling pattern against lawmakers in Indiana. It's unfortunate that my family and I continue to be threatened for my work as a public servant and state senator. This is no way to weigh in on any public issue, even if you do not agree with my stance. My office is always open, and I encourage constituents with any concerns to reach out. Zay is supportive of a controversial proposal to redistrict Indiana's congressional boundaries and to make Indiana's 2 blue districts red ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. Sometimes you're not yes enough for some of our friends on the right. And when you get this mob mentality going, it's a little challenging because apparently, again, the issue isn't with like leftists and liberals in Indiana. The issue is coming from conservatives in the state who are mad as hell that this isn't going forward fast enough. So it goes, Zay pushed for an aggressive marketing campaign to explain why the new map is needed to the public. He said the pressure and influence needed to come more from constituents. Obviously, the administration has chosen an entirely different tactic, which I don't agree with, which has kind of turned into this ugly, threatening, demeaning, bashing thing. I'm not surprised. It's certainly not uncharacteristic of the administration, but I think we all would have been better served to have a stronger groundswell of support to bring it to a vote. Like, the issue here is like the Republican Party is tearing itself apart because Zay wants to slow it down and get like the redistricting effort kind of like having like a critical amount of public support behind it. But the issue is it's probably not going to be able to get that critical support behind it, which is why the Trump administration is trying to barrel ahead with it anyway. And to the MAGA crowd, Zay looks like he's trying to stop it. And so he's an enemy to the president, even though he supports the actual legislation. So the MAGA base doesn't know what it's doing and is just attacking anyone perceived to be disloyal. And Republicans are freaking out. And what that sets the stage for is, well, police to get involved. Again, here's Mike Braun's statement in lockstep with the Indiana State Police. Indiana State Police and their law enforcement partners have been working around the clock all week to protect lawmakers and investigate threats. Rest assured, if you threaten or attempt to carry out acts of violence against Indiana's elected officials, we will bring you to justice. Which, I believe them when they say, hey, you're threatening us, we're going to put you in prison. Because like that's completely consistent with Republican values. But what this means is you're going to get like state level Republicans finally turning the policing apparatus against other Republicans in the state. This is, in fact, one of those points of fracture within the Republican Party, right? And that is only going to get worse with time. On the other side of things, here is Ruwa Romann's first speech as a gubernatorial candidate in Georgia. She gave it at the Unite Here Local 23 Union, because she believes in fighting corporate power. And let's just take a listen to her first speech as a gubernatorial candidate.
My name is Ruwa Romann. I am the State House Representative for District 97 up in West Gwinnett, but I am ecstatic because this is the first group I am giving a speech to as a candidate for governor for our state next year. So how am I running? I'm running to feed hungry kids, raise minimum wage, reopen hospitals, take homes back from corporations, and invest in small businesses. The reality is, I'm going to be straight with y'all because I don't like to sugarcoat things, is that our state ranks almost last for workers. And for those who don't know, the minimum wage on our books is actually lower than the federal one at $5.15 an hour. So if you go look up our legal, documents, they will tell you the last time we updated this was in 1997. You can't live off of that. You can't even survive off of that. I don't think you can even feed off of that these days. In fact, with bipartisan support, we were almost close to expanding Medicaid, and yet because of one person, the governor, we couldn't. And so what's happened? Now more hospitals are at risk of closing. More people are lacking health care. It's a lot harder to keep getting by. And not only that, we keep talking about the federal government. We've now seen massive cuts to health care. And United Healthcare this morning just announced that they are going to be cutting coverage in 109 counties. We don't even know which counties those are, or which states they are. We just know they're going to cut coverage in 109 counties. And I don't know about y'all, but healthcare is already expensive enough. So what did we pass this past legislative session? We didn't raise the minimum wage. We didn't increase worker protections. We didn't have better healthcare access. In fact, there was not any bills to help Georgians weather the chaos of this administration. Not one. My name is Ruwa Romann. I am...
I would love to have her on to talk with her, which is, by the way, not a non-zero possibility. I will get to work on that because I genuinely think that she has the juice to potentially win in Georgia. And I would love to see her as the next governor. I believe this is the rest of the speech.
Ever pass a bill to shield corporations from liability if they hurt any of us or any workers. Can y'all believe that? I'm tired. I am so tired of them telling us that we need to be okay with just crumbs, as they give corporations entire loaves of bread. And what's worse is we're now getting to a point where those same politicians are now telling us to give those crumbs back. What are we doing here? So here's the thing. Why am I running? I told you on my platform, but I want to tell you about something even bigger. I'm running to build a movement. And people in this room know exactly what that looks like. It's about building power, because I know we can flip the governor's mansion, and I know we can either flip the state house or get close enough to force them to negotiate with us, because they have ignored us for far too long. And I know y'all have been doing this. Y'all have paved the path for this. People like me would not even be thinking about doing something this massive if it wasn't for the work that you've been doing. But the reality is the people down the street, because it is down the street, the Capitol's right down the street, they don't look like us. They don't have to worry about the same things we have to worry about. And so because of y'all, because of the organizing you've built, we are all here today. So thank y'all so much. I know that we can do this. I know we can do it one door, one conversation, one person at a time, because the reality is that we can build a movement that fights for a Georgia we can afford. And as y'all have been saying, when we fight, we win. Thank y'all so much.
Dragonfly, do you happen to have any connections with the Ruwa for Georgia campaign? Just just asking for a friend. Is this a Republican or a Dem? This is very, very much a Dem. She's been fighting the good fight in Georgia for a while, and I've been paying attention to her state level career. And she was one of the folks who was denied a speaking spot at the DNC last year to speak in favor of Palestinians and against the genocide. And she is someone that I think has moral fiber. I think she has the energy. I think she has the policies. And I think she is someone who is using her campaign to go all the way across the state to build up a network of volunteers and connections so that she can build a statewide movement. I think she is actually pretty talented. Maybe she shouldn't use Kamala's catchphrase after what Kamala did to her. I'm sorry, but saying that Kamala Harris gets to own in perpetuity the "when we fight, we win" line, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. But I'm sure she would happily respond to your email. Feel free to email her on the ruwaforgeorgia.com website. You can let her know that she's stepping wrong with her language in trying to appeal to Georgia Democrats. Now, I will also point out we have other great candidates in the wings coming up doing the work. Another one I want to highlight here is Kat Abughazaleh, who is running in Illinois. So let's take a look.
This next speaker is running for office, and as far as I know, she's the only candidate running for office who's been picked up by an ICE officer and thrown on the ground. I want leaders that will put their bodies between me and fascism. Do you? Give it up for the incredible Kat Abughazaleh!
I am so honored to be here with all of you today. And we are all here because we, the American people, deserve better than what our leaders have failed to deliver. In case anyone forgot, our government is supposed to work for us. Not corporations, not billionaires, and not the deranged racist predator who plans to live to his dying day in the White House. We are here to remove him and his regime.
Oh, she's running in the 9th district.
That is not the only reason we are here. We got to this moment because of inaction from leaders who swore to protect us, who swore to fight for us. We trusted them and they broke that trust. So now it's time for the people we elected to put up or shut up.
What do we want? Impeach! That's right.
We are sick of excuses. We are sick of compromise with fascists. We are sick of leaders who think they deserve our vote.
And in before anyone's like, oh, well, they won't impeach him, so this is all pointless. The point is to build up a pressure so that when Republicans become weak and powerless, or when the Democrats retake the House, impeachment can begin to proceed. Like, there is a reckoning coming. The Republicans are fracturing, and that means the knives are going to be out for not just each other, but also for Donald Trump. So the second he is no longer politically useful for them, he's gone. What happens if Trump is actually impeached? Then it gets thrown over to the Senate, where they have to act as a jury to convict.
It is time for them to realize the old playbook is gone. Republican leadership right now is filled with power-hungry racists who want a white nationalist dystopia. And look, that's scary. I get it if some of our elected officials are scared of that. But if you, a congressperson in the United States of America, one of the most powerful people in the world, are too afraid to stand up for us, step out of the way for someone else who will. Not just in removing this despot, but building something better than our unlivable status quo. My community, like yours, has been through hell because of this administration. Masked secret police raid homes, workplaces, and schools across Chicago, Evanston, Skokie, and the rest of Illinois. Less than a month ago, I was federally indicted for exercising my First Amendment rights by protesting Trump's masked secret police. Mine is just one of many blatantly political prosecutions, which have also targeted some of our speakers today. We're all different people, but we have one thing in common, and that is that the administration sees us as a threat. Not just us, all of us. That's why they want to invoke the Insurrection Act. That is why they try to trample on our rights. And that is why they want to scare you into silence. But is that working? No! I said, is that working? No! We deserve better than this. We deserve equal rights. We deserve universal health care. We deserve a Green New Deal. We deserve the best education system in the world, strong unions. We deserve free college and affordable housing. We deserve maternity leave and childcare, and not breaking our backs for billionaires who don't give a damn about us. We deserve so much more than what our leaders have failed to deliver, but they have a chance to redeem themselves, to step up now. But the first step is impeachment. The reality is that we, the people, the voters, have been resisting more than the people that we elected. We have borne the brunt of what this administration is doing, and we are tired of it. So to our representatives, we don't want any more excuses. We don't want to hear that impeachment is unpopular, because it's not. And guess what? You're a leader. You better lead. We don't want to hear that you're worried about your re-election. Our lives are more important than your campaign. And you don't deserve our votes. You earn it. And I guarantee that if you cave to cowardice, someone else will step up to take your place. And we do not want to hear that there is no cause to impeach this tyrant. Donald Trump has strangled our economy with tariffs without congressional approval. He has deployed our forces against the American people. He violates international law, targeting civilians and cozying up to dictators.
She's so good at this.
So answer to the people. Turn away from decades of political failure. Impeach this president, and we can make history by building a better future. I want to leave you with the truth that our leaders seem unwilling to face. Good things are possible. And no matter what anyone on TV or on the Hill tells you, we don't have to settle. Thank you.
She genuinely has the juice. catforillinois.com. Genuinely one of the best campaigns I'm seeing for Congress so far. I will also throw out there that in each and every portion of this country, you are finding folks coming together to resist the regime and show their displeasure and erode support for the Trump administration in every venue. Here in Monrovia, California, protesters staged a buy-in. And for those of you who aren't quite familiar with that,
chat if you want to get involved.
Take a look
but
real
don't
quick.
Want the stress of running for office. Consider volunteering for your city's commissions to help shape policy and make recommendations to your council person.
True, Simric. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Very much appreciated, and also great advice. Getting involved on the local level will help you to get out there, learn your local political scene, and actually help to make better policy. Great call to action there, Simric. Now, also, again, people in Monrovia, California staged a buy-in. So what they did here was they bought 17 cents worth of ice scrapers from Home Depot, because Home Depot has been collaborating with ICE with these snatch and grab operations to kidnap folks out of Home Depot parking lots. And the residents of Monrovia are sick and tired of it. And so they got together and they came up with this plan. And that plan is buy the 17-cent ice scraper and then immediately go and return it. And then repeat that process so that you waste time and resources and completely throw a wrench in the works of how this company is able to operate on a day-to-day basis. Let's take a look, shall we?
You're the richest drummer.
That's what actually was out of position.
Hey, can everybody's attention, please? If you're purchasing something,
I have been volunteering with
we can come to this side. Come to this side for the customers to walk through. Thank you. Not to pay.
The one that hasn't just put all this stuff in, but they still have like a good amount of labor.
What are you buying? An ice scraper. Nice. What are you guys buying?
We are buying ice scrapers.
Right.
Thank you.
What are you buying? An ice scraper. Sorry. What are you buying today?
I'm buying ice scraper.
Oh yeah. What are you buying today?
I am buying an anvil putty knife.
An ice scraper.
Yes, ice scraper.
And like, this is a great, so the point is to physically DDoS Home Depot. Exactly. You go in, you buy the ice scraper or product, you then immediately take it to return, and then you repeat the process for as long as the protest is going on. You take up employee time, you take up store resources, you take up, the goal is basically you're there doing the things you're allowed to do in the store, but you are taking up space, you are taking up resources, and you're putting pressure on Home Depot to change its policy of collaborating with ICE. the entire point is to put pressure on the employees and to put pressure on, more specifically, management, because I can guarantee you the employees don't give a single shit about, more people being in the store to do this. Might be a pain in the butt for a little bit, but like, the employees understand why these folks are here, and it's the management that needs to be concerned, because the management is what is concerned with the sales and concerned with the efficiency and concerned with like the use of resources, and like, they don't want that. They don't want that waste. That's costing them actual real world dollars. So, this is a great way, if you have a local Home Depot that is collaborating with ICE, organize your local community around coming in and doing just this. Don't go to Home Depot. They're allowed. Sterling Nash, are you not understanding? Are you not understanding the protest? Are you not understanding that the protest to buy and return meaningless garbage to Home Depot is to harm Home Depot and put pressure on them to change their policy of collaborating with ICE? The point of it is to get Home Depot to stop doing what they're doing. So, yes, if you are going to do this form of protest, do it at Home Depot. Did you already explain how they were collaborating with ICE? Yeah, they're allowing like employees and people in the parking lots to be picked up by ICE. Home Depot has the ability to refuse ICE entry onto their private property. An important thing to note is that they were using cash as well for the protest. A debit card takes a day or two and still generates interest for Home Depot. Ah, well noted, Uncle Simric. Thank you for the insight as usual. Yeah, people are not happy with Home Depot. Now, do you folks remember the South Shore apartment complex that got raided in that glossy Trump administration produced raid hype video? You all remember the Black Hawk helicopter, people coming down. I've talked about it several times in several different stories. Turns out residents at those buildings have been treated so badly, and that event caused them to come together so closely that they have something new that they would like to announce. So let's take a look at what they're doing to push back on their oppressive conditions.
Hello, everyone. My name is Infinity, INFINITI, Gant, GANT, and I am a housing organizer with Southside Together. I am here today with the 7500 South Shore Tenants Union and MTO to make sure that we are centering tenants and get some demands heard and resolved. We've heard about ICE raiding this building, but that's all we've heard. No one has paid attention to the fact that there have been problems in this building way before ICE came. No one paid attention to the fact that people were living here without heat before ICE came. That ain't right. That ain't right. People were living here with mice and roaches and flea infestations before ICE. That ain't right. People were living here with sewage on the floors and mold on the walls.
And they have formed themselves a tenants union so that they can negotiate with their landlords and get the support that they need. Here's another tenant for the building.
Good morning. Good morning. We're trying to make it a good morning. We're trying to make it a good morning, trying to make it a good day. Oh, yes, our demands are needed. We have people in this building, like was said, that are disabled, don't have family to locate to, that are out of power, that are out of heat. Heat is a major problem that we have in here because some of our people are living unsafely with the electrical heat that we have to use to live in here. Unsafe with the carbon monoxide that might be released from using your gas stove. We need help in this building. It's not just me, it's a group of us. There's still a lot of us that's left in this building. This has nothing to do with the ICE situation. This building has been deteriorating for over the past year. Please pay attention, because we're not just residents. We are citizens of America.
Like, they're coming together and doing it, folks.
Worse, ever since ICE did their raid. Right now, the building has been shut down by the city and is in receivership under Freedmen Communities, but Freedmen has not turned on the heat at all. Even though it's been in the low 30s some of these days, they have not fixed the lights in the hallway. It is dark. It is very dark in the building. It's scary. It's dangerous. They have not fixed the water and the sewage water in the mold on the first and second floor. So there are flies everywhere. Like, my ceiling is damn near caving in. Like, it's so much going on. The building is falling apart from the inside out. And it stinks. Yes, it has a bad smell. Each floor.
And I imagine. And like, yeah, no, exactly, Amber Brains. Same conditions that was happening in the Aurora, Colorado apartment building, where everyone was talking about the Venezuelan gangs, and even TYT got on that bandwagon. And like, understand that there is probably a level of cooperation between bad landlords and ICE. Largely that, like, they get like carte blanche to trash these buildings, and then the landlords get to go, oh no, no possible way I could possibly repair it, and then it goes into receivership. You know, like, it is one of the ways that they can, like, make a profit off their building. I understand the concerns they have, but why is this tied to the ICE raids? Is this because people are blaming the issues on immigrants? Well, it's tied to the ICE raids, Pastry Death, because one of the big things that happened during the ICE raids was that ICE came in and broke apart doors, destroyed apartment building materials and structure in the name of the raid, and like broke into people's apartments, busted up all the apartments, and these people never got a dime for any of that. You know, they never got a dime for the damage to their stuff. They never got any of the building repaired afterwards, because the landlords just up and like got out of Dodge. You know? And like, this is not, I mean, it's related to the raids, but it's honestly just a smoke. Like, the raids are kind of acting as a smokescreen for the issues in the building, and then the landlords are being further shitty by not actually fixing anything that ICE broke. So like, all of that stuff is still broken, and it's leading to unlivable conditions. And like, the conditions were basically unlivable before, but they've gotten worse now directly because of ICE. And also, the ICE raid was so traumatic that all of these people got together, now know each other, and were able to form a tenants union.
They are demanding that Freedmen Communities take immediate steps to repair the building. That includes full restoration of heat, electricity, and elevators. That includes removal of standing water, sewage, pests, rodents, and severe mold from the building. Freedmen Communities must immediately hire qualified 24-hour security for this building. They are also demanding that Mayor Brandon Johnson, Freedmen Communities, and J.B. Pritzker work to relocate residents to the building. Work to relocate residents from this building to other units in South Shore.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to condemn the building, you gotta make sure you got places for those people to go. 1000%. Absolutely reasonable. And the demands conclude here.
To make sure that tenants are paid $7,500 in relocation fees no later than 30 days before their move out. And finally, are demanding that Chicago Housing Authority expedite the inspection process for Section 8 tenants to make sure that they are able to move out of these units in a decent time.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Good for them. I wish them all the best, and I hope, folks, if you live in the Chicago area, you know, figure out a way you can help out. Maybe call JB Pritzker, call Brandon Johnson, call folks in positions of authority and ask them to remember the South Shore apartments. Okay, ask them to support the South Shore Tenants Union. And yeah, landlords like this should face criminal charges. Absolutely, it is it is beyond the pale that they do not. Now, stuff like this is giving me hope, because people are coming together, and it is people who will see us through. Please tell me you think we got a real shot at arresting and dismantling ICE after this is all over. Vaughn 400, that is entirely dependent on whether we step up and get involved and make sure that these criminals masquerading in ICE uniforms, or perhaps appropriately donning ICE uniforms, are held to account, and that ICE is dismantled. We need to get involved and ensure that happens. Part of us making sure that happens is joining our local Dems and joining our local DSA and being effective organizers on the ground locally everywhere we can. Because it is only by building power that the powerful will give a damn about our demands. So let's build so much power that they cannot ignore us and must in fact bow to our demands. Now, I wanted to show just an example in Charlotte where the ICE raids have ICE has begun their operations in earnest in Charlotte, North Carolina. And here is, just a guy with a tow truck company, wanting to help out folks who have been targeted by ICE. So here's what he's doing, as seen by the Charlotte Observer.
Well, today we are taking the car back to a family member, like making sure like the person who got deported don't lose everything. In case that person get deported with no money, at least he can sell she can sell the car and start over on their country. And we're making sure the car don't get to the wrong hands. That's why we require to the people like call us and like a family member, like real close friends, and then we try to come fast to the scene, making sure all the company don't take the cars, because like we don't want them to lose everything. Like we are a tow company, but more than a tow company, we are a family company,
Like, just everyday people stepping up and doing what they can for one another. It is what makes us good people, That guy's just doing it because it's the right thing to do. It is the right thing to make sure, tow companies aren't just like towing these vehicles from, folks detained by ICE out and like selling them for a profit. And yeah, folks, if you need help joining your local Dems or radicalizing your local DSA, or, even if you need help with like a fitness plan or whatever for yourself personally, or getting involved in your local city commissions, join our Discord. Simric will help you navigate your city commissions and get your fitness plan on track. Dragonfly will help you join your local Dems. GamerG will help you join your local DSA. Like, now is the time to be doing all of that, because now is the time when we need to start building our political capital so we don't just get crushed into the dirt by the next Hakeem Jeffries, by the next Chuck Schumer who's trying to establish, centrist control of the Dems. It needs to happen now. Now is the time. And I also want to highlight one additional campaign that is a really big deal when it comes to congressional politics. And that is, there is a special election happening right now in Tennessee, I believe. And that election is super important because, as you guys have noted, the margins in the House of Representatives in Congress are razor thin. Razor thin. And this has turned into a potential for Democrats to flip a Republican seat. And I am talking about the candidate, Aftyn Behn. So let's take a look at her campaign ad here.
Aftyn Behn here. Republicans just passed their big bullshit bill to yank healthcare away from millions while giving billionaires a tax break. How about a member of Congress that won't sell out her community to the highest bidder? This bill will be devastating. Wayne County Medical is at risk of closing. Grocery and prescription costs will continue to soar, and seniors will lose $500 million in Medicare. All so that billionaires and corporations get a big, fat tax break. This bill is so toxic that Representative Mark Green voted for it, resigned, and decided to skip town. Feels like Groundhog Day, doesn't it? When Trump was elected the first time, I jumped into action. I organized statewide against healthcare cuts. I rallied to save rural hospitals like the one in Erin, Tennessee, and I took that fight statewide with National Indivisible. Many of you have been part of my story, whether it was strategizing, canvassing, phone banking. You've been on the front lines with me, taking it to the MAGA extremists and showing up to defend our state and our country. Now I'm running for Congress because Tennessee deserves leaders who will put people first, and this country deserves bold and fearless leadership that can meet this moment. As a state representative in Tennessee, I have fought to eliminate Tennessee's grocery tax. In Congress, I will fight to make sure your rural hospitals and nursing homes stay open, and I will make sure that no one loses their health care because they can't afford it. This is a wake-up call. If we don't bring change to Congress, the billionaires and bought-out politicians will continue to rig the system against us. This will be the first federal special election since the bill passed. Let's show the entire country that in deep red Tennessee, we will not stand for a system that is rigged against us. I'm Aftyn Behn, and I'm running for Congress, and I would love your support because hell will freeze over before we let them get away with this.
Now, also just want to point out this, I'm gonna link her campaign website, which is pretty well made because a lot of money has started flowing into this race because Democrats started seeing polling out of this race and they started licking their lips and salivating, okay? Because this is a plus 22 Trump district, meaning that Donald Trump won this district by 22%, okay? And we have an opportunity to flip the seat from red to blue. Now, let's just take a look at some of just a little breakdown from MSNBC about how this could actually work and what it might mean.
In less than 2 weeks, we're going to get our next clues on how voters are feeling ahead of the midterms. It will come from a special election in a solidly Republican congressional district in the middle of Tennessee, one where Democrats are hoping they can pull off an upset. Former Vice President Kamala Harris even made a surprise appearance for the Democrat there this week. The first time she's joined a candidate on the campaign trail since leaving office. NBC's Steve Kornacki has more on the race at the big board.
All right, December 2nd, less than 2 weeks from now, we get our next election, our next readout on the atmosphere as 2026 starts to come into focus. So it's a special election in the 7th Congressional District of Tennessee, sort of middle Tennessee. What are we talking about here? Well, there's downtown Nashville. There's the suburbs in Williamson County, which is right outside Nashville. And then it kind of sprawls and crawls to the west and to the south to some rural areas. So sort of a mix in this district, a very Republican district. You wouldn't normally talk about this district being at all potentially competitive, except here's what's been happening in recent elections. You know, in New Jersey here, Democratic landslide in the governor's race. But the key was this. Look, Trump had lost this state by 6 points to Kamala Harris last year. New Jersey went up to a 14-point margin in the governor's race there. So the Democrats didn't just win. I think they overperformed relative to last year. Same thing happened in Virginia. Again, it's a blue state to start with. Harris had won this by just under 6 points last year. But again, look at this, up to 15 points here. So two Democratic landslides. It wasn't just Democrats won these states, it's that they won them in land.
Yeah. And if this trend holds through, not just for state wide governor races, but for a special election in an off year, like, oh man, that's when you're gonna really start seeing some folks jumping ship. Okay?
Landslides, and this comes on the heels of what we've had 4 special elections for the House so far this year, and in all 4 of them, the Democrats have overperformed relative to 2024. In Florida, 1st District, Republicans won it by 15, but that was down from 37 points last year. In Florida 6, Republicans won by 14, down from a 30-point win. Democrats carried 2 districts here, but they increased their margin relative to 2024. So again, you look at this district, Tennessee 7. Look, Trump won it by 22 points last year. He won it by 15 points in 2020. But if you get this kind of movement, if you get some of that movement you saw in Virginia, some of that movement in New Jersey, this could get into the single digits. This could get potentially interesting. And one thing we've been seeing, these special elections, lower turnout, Democrats have been more motivated, their voters have, than Republicans. So keep an eye on this one. The Republicans think the Democratic candidate, she's sort of from the progressive side of the party. Her own party called her the AOC of Tennessee. They think they can get some mileage out of those they want to be using nationally in 2026. If the Republicans end up winning this big, not having this kind of drop-off, it would show those attacks maybe are going to work next year. If the Democrats can get this down to single digits, it would be more momentum for them heading.
Yeah, keep in mind, even if Aftyn Behn doesn't win, if the margin is 1 or 2% in favor of the Republican in this race, oh baby, Republicans are in huge, huge trouble. But this is within the margin of us being able to flip it. This is not outside of the realm of possibility, which normally, again, it would absolutely be. So one of the things that I think Aftyn Behn has going for her specifically is that she is attached to Indivisible. Now, for those of you who haven't been paying attention, Indivisible is one of the biggest and most successful grassroots organizing campaigns of our lifetimes. Okay? It has put together the single largest day of peaceful protest, coordinated peaceful protest in U.S. history. Okay? Or at least in the last 60 years. And they are throwing their weight behind Aftyn Behn. They had her on 4 days ago on their national meeting, and I thought we'd take a look at that. So let's jump into it.
We want Aftyn, thank you for joining us. Let's get her off mute and on camera. Excellent. We caught you in between events. Aftyn, it is great to see you.
Good to see you too. It feels like coming home.
Well, welcome home. You are among friends. We are excited to be here with you. We are really excited for what you're doing in Tennessee. We have just a few questions that we wanted to get into, but for folks who don't know Aftyn, she is the 7th Congressional District in Tennessee candidate, where there is early voting going on right now. If you are in the district, you can vote right now. The election day is December 2nd, but get out there. And if you aren't in the in the 7th district, you can help Aftyn out. One of the things, if you go to Aftyn's website, I love she describes herself as a pissed off social worker. That's one of the first lines, which as the son of a pissed off social worker, that just hits near and dear to my heart. She is a homegrown community organizer, y'all. She is an advocate for rural and public hospitals in Tennessee. She
also need to really, really, really emphasize, if you are in Tennessee and you are able to volunteer for her campaign locally in person, please take advantage of the opportunity. I'm again going to post her link in the chats because, folks, you can genuinely make a huge difference by going and knocking doors or helping out with their campaign operations on the ground. Okay? And if you do not live in Tennessee, but you would still like to help, donations are great, of course, but even more importantly, volunteer to phone bank. Phone bank volunteering, super goddamn important. All right? You can volunteer to do both on her website.
was well known within the Indivisible movement as a
like on a special election on an off year. Some chances are that a lot of people don't know it's even happening because a lot of normal people, especially on an off year, completely are checked out of politics. Especially around this time of year, people are thinking about Thanksgiving. They're not thinking about like a special election. So the more we can get people out knocking on doors, phone banking, text banking, etc., the better it is going to be. Now is the time to go and fill out that volunteer form on her website. Okay?
Group leader and an organizer in Tennessee. So she's well known in Tennessee, but also it's not just in Tennessee. She was the founder of the Raucous Rural Caucus for Indivisible as well years and years ago. So she has been this just fierce defender of democracy. And I am just freaking thrilled that we're able to talk to her and so incredibly proud to have been some small part and have crossed paths with her as she's ascended to the ranks of incredible democracy defenders in the country. So she's given a lot of people a lot of hope, not just in Tennessee, but all over. So Aftyn, thanks for being here. And first, I just want you to tell us, but especially everybody here, why is this election so important?
Yeah, well, first I want to say thank you so much. It feels like a homecoming. And I just want to elevate that Indivisible has just been such an institutional and foundational part of my story. You all trained me to be one of the best organizers I could.
And I just want to point out, if you go to her Mobilize page, you can, in fact, join multiple virtual join from anywhere phone bank events. You can, in fact, be part of changing politics on the national level here. So, folks, if you need help doing it, join our Discord, reach out to Dragonfly, reach out to Simric, reach out to Gamergy, and, of course, volunteer on the website, Aftyn Behn, Aftyn for Congress.
And gave me the opportunity to run around the 7th District in 2017, 2018, through 2020, and to help build the capacity and the infrastructure, the progressive infrastructure we needed to actually win this race, which is why it's so competitive. So some context for folks on the call, Representative Mark Green decided to cash in on his corporate checks. He voted for the big ugly bill and then skipped town to Guyana, where he is doing something sketchy, probably, and thus catalyzing a special election in Tennessee. And it's the last flippable red to blue congressional district in the entire country. It's historically, and so for those of you that remember, Nashville was a consolidated Democratic district, and then after redistricting, they cut it into 3 pieces. And this is one of those pieces. And it just so happens that it includes some of the highest voter turnout precincts in Nashville, coupled with our Purple County, which is up by the Kentucky border and includes Fort Campbell. So it's a lot more competitive than people think. And we have been able to shrink the margin from about 20 to about 6. And
oh, holy shit. Oh, okay. So I was unaware of the internal polling that they have. If they've already done the work of shifting it 16 points, if that work has already been done, like genuinely a ground game can make the difference. Oh my God. All right.
So that is where we are right now. Our early voting data shows us we're about down by 4. Of course, the Trump PAC decided to jump in. They're spending about $2 million in a race that they didn't want to spend. The airwaves are saturated with attack ads, some from my Indivisible days. So they're going, full throttle, and what it's going to take to win is absolute turnout. And so I'm asking you all for the next 2 weeks, as you are able to make this election your entire personality. And so as you are able to phone bank, as you are able to donate, we can win it. It's just going to take everyone and their second cousin, as we like to say in Tennessee.
Yeah, love it.
That's incredible. Yeah. Well, actually, I'd love if you could share a little bit more about your own journey from organizer to elected office and a little bit.
I also just want to throw out there that this is turning out to be a very high spend election. And that, in fact, as of 3 days ago, the DNC has thrown its weight behind Aftyn. Let's see. DNC tells Axios its volunteers have contacted 40,000 voters through door knocking and canvassing. I think they're also throwing money behind her. I know that the total spend for the election is over $7 million at this point. I don't know how much of that is Republican versus Democrat money.
Bit about how your experience as a group leader and organizer shaped how you operate as a leader, as an elected leader.
Yeah, I mean, I was the Tennessee organizer from 2018 to 2020, and then I had Kentucky. And I think it made me understand how to navigate legislative campaigns and then electoral campaigns, which you all do seamlessly. And for those of you that are just joining the Indivisible Network, you're going to come out of this experience just much more trained and much more adept at the hard skills you need to actually win elections and take back our democracy. And that's what happened with me. And then in 2023, I think I got pissed off enough that I looked around and I thought, you know what? I have the hard skills of being an organizer. Why don't I apply those to the state legislature? And so I decided to run. I won in a special election in a really competitive primary, which as an Indivisible, we love primaries, as we know. And I've been a state legislator for 2 years. And I think what's important to note is for those of you that, I never thought I wanted to run for office, but this moment requires courage, a contagious courage, and an urgency that all of us eventually are probably going to have to run for office. So Ezra, Leah, I don't know what y'all's plans are, probably to raise the kids, but eventually one of you is going to have to run for office because the country is, it is where we are. And I'm so excited that this is the next vehicle in which I can do my organizing in.
We're behind your race, Aftyn. I'm certainly not running. If y'all can encourage Leah to run, I would be happy to cheerlead her on. But we're focusing on Tennessee 7. That's where we are. So let's talk about the politics of this. You mentioned this a little bit, Aftyn, already. This is a district that voted for Trump twice. And then after this blue wave that we saw a couple Tuesdays ago, the National Republicans, they're scared of you. They are dropping a boatload of money against you right now. How are you thinking about the state of the race right now? How are you making the argument to voters in that district that you are the right person to represent them in Congress?
Well, I'll be vulnerable with you all. Today's a really rough day. The full onslaught of the National Republican.
Yeah, okay. Look, NBC News reporting $3.3 million has been poured into the race specifically to oppose Behn or to support Van Epps, which compares to about $900,000 spent to support Behn. The cash on hand available to the Behn campaign outstrips the cash on hand for Van Epps by about. The Behn campaign has supposedly a little over $1 million on hand, while Van Epps has like 500,000, I believe. It is a messy, moneyed campaign hitting at the very end. We got like a couple weeks left, and that is some big spend on a congressional special election race.
Republican Party is on my back, and I've cried at least twice today. But I have to remember why I got into this race, and it's because our communities don't feel safe, our state is under attack, and people can't afford to live. And if I think about the fact that this race is a matter of life and death for folks on our Medicaid program, it pushes me back into the fight. And so, I obviously have our politics, right? And I knew, the attacks were coming. But if I try to kind of finesse and reframe how those attacks are coming, it's like they're coming because I care about my community. They're coming because I have fought to ensure that marginalized communities have a seat at the table. I have used my voice, my position, and my privilege to check power, right? And that is why they're coming hard after me. And that's why this race is so competitive. So, to say TV, as I said, the airwaves, but I'm very grateful for this opportunity.
Aftyn, don't let the bastards get you down. You see all these people who are on this chat. You see people around the country who are inspired by you, who are cheering you on. So screw those guys. They don't understand the district the way that you do. Your opponent would not be a 10th the member of Congress that you would be. You are in this for all of the right reasons, and we all see that. Yep. We all see that and are cheering you on. And Thank you for throwing yourself into this, because it is not easy. I know it's not easy anywhere. It's especially not easy to do that in a tough district like this when you've got the president of the United States directly trying to defeat you.
And also, like, her policy positions are objectively great. You know, she is, pro-choice. She is running to make sure children get food. She is running to fix roads. She is running to fund hospitals. Like, she is doing the good work of helping working folks out.
We think it's really important in this moment for folks who are standing up to find support, because this is a moment where we've got to stand together. You might say stand together indivisible, and treat an attack on you like an attack on all of us, because that's what it is. So we're here behind you. We're really thrilled to be in this fight with you. You are very much not alone, as you can see in the chat right now. Leah?
Yeah, let me take it in a direction the direction that we all want to go. We're imagining, okay, you've won. This has been an extraordinary moment. It's a demonstration of the power of the backlash to what is happening in this country. You're taking the oath of office. What is your top priority in your first week as a member of Congress?
Making living affordable again. I've been running on ending the grocery tax in Tennessee. I've been organizing around it for 3 years. Tennessee is one of 9 states that has a sales tax on food, which is insane. And doing that by closing corporate loopholes. So I would imagine that I would take that fight to Congress and to ensure that the cost of groceries is my number one priority.
Hello, Inquisitor.
100%.
And it's actually what Trump said he was going to do. He said he was going to lower the cost of bread and eggs. He said he was actually going to support folks.
And as we have seen in an earlier segment, he genuinely is like, I don't know why people were asking me about eggs.
Here he is, we're a year in, and instead he's building himself a golden ballroom, demolishing the East Wing of the White House and terrorizing communities around the country instead of doing jack shit for anybody else. So I think that's a powerful message to bring, not just to our own normal constituencies, but even Trump supporters who thought this guy was going to deliver for him. But we can credibly say, this is what we're going to do, and we need real leaders to do that. Right. So thanks for making that argument. So speaking of Congress in general, you know that we've been pretty vocal about calling out the leadership of the Democratic Party, especially Chuck Schumer recently, who's minority leader of the Senate, not the House. It's the Senate, so a different body. But you know, we also know the Democratic Party brand is just about as low as it's ever been. I'm from a rural place in Texas. The word Democrat was a bad word practically where I grew up. I'm curious, as you're engaged in this race, and you're talking to people, why do you think the Democratic brand is so low? And if you could wave a wand, what would you change about it?
What I've seen and heard in my district is they want leaders that fight for them and not for the party, not for special interests, not for donors. Right? And I think a lot of politicians are bought and sold by their corporate donors, by the political PACs that bankroll them, right? And that's not me. And the person I'm running against is...
And she's pro-Palestine? Y'all, get on Aftyn for Congress. Get on that volunteer list.
Absolute puppet to the puppet masters of the universe.
Also, we've been talking about folks who are organized, where are all the Democrats in red districts in rural areas? Here is one. This is a good progressive candidate. We have an opportunity here to activate the rural progressive base.
And in fact, he only came out in support of releasing the Epstein files after he was given the green light from President Trump himself. So wow. I've taken hard stands. That's probably why they're coming after me so hard right now. But I will always fight for the interest of the 7th District and to make healthcare more affordable, to make groceries cheaper. And that's my prerogative.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's great to hear.
All right. Okay, so for the 8,000 people who are on right now, who are watching, who are jazzed, who want to help, how can they help? Tell them where to go and what to do.
Yeah. So the excitement from the Virginia, New Jersey races, like we just need 2 weeks more of that, right? And then you all can rest for the holiday season. So as much as you put into those races, it would send a message if we flip this district to the Trump administration that we are fed up, that we are done with the chaos of Washington, we are done with the cost of living, and that, the deep South, the South has something to say. So as you are able, please donate. I know you all are doing phone banking, it sounds like, on your end. We also have phone banking, postcarding. If you're wanting to come down, there's a statewide day of action on November 29th where all of the county parties are coming to the district to help knock doors. We've been knocking thousands and thousands of doors, and they don't really have a field game. They've had to bring in reinforcements in the terms of the NRCC coming in because they hadn't been knocking doors. And guess what? It's a lot of indivisible groups, right? It's all the people that we've been organizing with for the past decade. So once again, I just want to say thank you so much for investing in me as an organizer and as a state legislator. I've been incredibly grateful for the opportunity, and I promise to take that fight to Congress.
We believe it.
Also, like, massive props to her, because I'm taking a look right at like some of her. She has a blog. Like, if you click on the issues section of her website, she actually has a blog where she's been talking about issues for a while now, and one of the ones that caught my eye was this one: legalize pothole repairs. After being a guest on Conservative Talk Radio this week, I'm ready to throw some elbows and ready to take on February. Check out my monthly newsletter below, right? Like, what does this mean? When Senator Campbell and I filed our pot for potholes bill, I knew I'd get pushback. Pot is the devil's drug. We could find revenue elsewhere. It will take years to get the infrastructure set up. Well, excuses are like belly buttons. Everyone's got one. I really like how she writes. However, I did not expect so much grassroots enthusiasm across the state from local businesses and conservative voters. Shout out to Larry's Nursery and Landscaping in Clarksville, Tennessee. Legalize pothole repair. This week, I received an email from someone we'll call Peter, who self-describes as an anti-Democrat as anyone you'll ever meet. He heard me on Conservative Talk Radio the other day, and after listening to my argument for legalization, he reached out. Peter's wife has suffered from epilepsy since she was 9 years old. The endless stream of prescribed medications has left her with a myriad of comorbid diseases. On the rare occasions she has traveled to states with legal cannabis, she's found real relief, but back home in Tennessee, that relief is illegal. Peter doesn't care which party gets credit. He wants his wife to get the relief she deserves. His priority isn't politics, it's her health. And that's precisely what this bill is about: putting people first, bringing in dedicated and sustained revenue for Tennessee, and demanding the legislature do something most Tennesseans want. Yeah. I don't know. It really seems like going into a hostile environment and understanding what constituents actually need, regardless of party, is the way to get them on your side.
All the way.
We know it. We know you will. You're going to be an incredible member of Congress. We can't wait to be cheering you on and then holding you accountable when you become a member of Congress, because that's how we do it.
Oh, I know. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
The indivisible groups in your district, look forward to that first meeting when you're in office. I'm sure we are 1,000% behind you. AftynForCongress.com, I believe, is the website for you. So for folks who are looking for more information, they can go there. I see a ton of folks saying that they are volunteering and they are donating. If you were on the fence before, now's the time, y'all. Now's the time. This is the race. There is not another race out there. This is it. The reason why you're reading about it now is because the national Republicans are quaking in their boots right now. They are worried about this. This is a tough district, and also they're worried about it. So please get in, do what you can. Aftyn, thank you. Thank you for throwing your hat in the ring. Thank you for being such an incredible leader, for inspiring so many people, again, in Tennessee and around the country. We just can't wait to see your star rise even further.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Later. Well, that was it.
I love Ezra and Leah, like, just wonderful humans. And folks, all of this to say, there are people who are running right now for elected office in this country that you can support. You can support Aftyn Behn. You can support Kat Abughazaleh. You can support Ruwa Romann. And you can start even planning to, learn about politics and run yourself. Okay? And one of the things to look at is how in this moment you can step up and help build this movement. A movement dedicated to not just like knowing what the correct policy positions are, but actually enacting those policies. Because wherever you are in this country, rural, urban, you can take action and organize for better politics. Whether that's getting involved with your local city commissions or organizing local folks who are fed up with ICE and protesting at your Home Depot, or organizing the tenants in your building so you have a union that can stand up for the rights of the folks who live there, or even put yourself out there to volunteer for some of these pivotal races that are coming up. We need folks exactly like you, listening, watching, to step up and start getting involved today. If you need help doing that, you can join our Discord. I've said it multiple times. I'll say it again. Pretty soon you'll be able to say it with me. To join the Discord, !Discord in any of the chats, reach out to Gamergy for help joining your local DSA. And your mission when you join is to make them more effective. When you get there, it might be hard. You might get there and it might be that there's a bunch of people who are more interested in virtue signaling than they are in actually getting shit done for working class people. It is your job to make them more effective. It is your job to make the organizing happen. And if you are going to join your local Dems, and I would encourage you to join both, by the way, you, again, join the Discord, reach out to Dragonfly, and she will be happy to help you get involved with your local Democratic Party. And once you are in that room, your job is to be affable. Your job is to be approachable. Your job is to communicate well with the folks in your local Dems and get them to adopt better politics and better organizing with your community. So that at the end of the day, what we are dealing with isn't just a bunch of people who happen to be right, but a bunch of people who are pursuing actively better politics, better policy, and building not just a group of people who are going to be right about something, but a powerhouse that can get shit done. Because all too often as leftists, we get so enamored with the idea of just knowing what the right thing is. The time for knowing is past, and we must act on that knowledge. So if you're with me, let's keep moving forward and trying to make that better world that we all can see in our mind's eye a reality. That being said, if you got anything out of today, the segment today, hit that like button, leave a comment, share the video, and do consider dropping those subs, donos, memberships, super chats, etc. Because at the end of the day, you guys make this stream and this show possible. I could not do it without you guys. Your support is literally what allows me to do this. I am very, very thankful each and every day that I get to come on and talk with you guys and organize with you guys. And last but not least, if you are in the market for gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes, please consider checking out ImageneOlivia.com. Again, made with the world-class skills of my partner. It is designed to fit trans bodies. We've tested it with cis bodies as well, and guess what? The reviews are in, and they are universally positive. So if you're in the market for, lingerie that is cute, feminine, and fits, check out ImageneOlivia.com. With that being said, I think we will keep on going.
Riverboat deck is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the scenes. Politics, being plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.